So I better talk about the meditation because I haven't said a word about the meditation yet. We practice a meditation of mantra. And mantra practice, it's a very ancient practice. We're talking thousands of years ago. And it's a practice that's using sound vibration. So the syllables of the mantra that we chant resonate to a particular vibration. That particular vibration is a little bit like a key. Think of it kind of like a mathematical formula that unlocks a safe. Yeah. So when we get the correct combination, we can unlock certain energies within us. Usually the negative energies. So some of this can be, atmospheric negativity that we all absorb. More of it can be that deeper negative energy of our pain and our trauma. A mantra can help us unlock that. When I started my journey with Japa mantra, I actually thought I had loads of healing done. I thought I was close to the finish line, if I tell the truth, yeah. Because I couldn't find anything else within my energy that needed healing, so I thought, I must be done. I genuinely thought, yeah, this is all good. Until I started doing mantra. And the energy of mantra started thawing out parts of me that were actually quite frozen. And that's why I couldn't feel them. Especially in my sacral chakra, emotional center. It was quite numb and quite frozen. So it was an easy mistake to make to think that, it must all be okay. But the real truth of it was that I couldn't feel it. So mantra helped that to thaw out. It helped me to feel what was going on in there and helped me to have access in it. Once I had access and I began to be able to feel it, then I could give it healing. And this continued over the years of, especially the early years, it was intense because there was loads of stuff in me that I hadn't been aware of before then. I was also doing some healing for within my ancestors. Yeah, this was in my energy also. So mantra practice is a really powerful energy for meditation because it probably works the quickest for clearing our negativity. If you do, let's say, a silent meditation or something like that, it will ultimately give the same effect. Yeah. The ultimate journey of meditation is to bring us back to ourselves. But we live in a very busy world, and we have very busy lives, and we've all experienced all sorts of things. So when we sit to meditate, all of that is there kind of like noise. And it's hard to meditate when all of that's going on. It's hard to find that place of stillness if our mind is stressed or if there's something else not quite right. Like if we're starving, it's very hard to sit and meditate. Our body needs to be fed. If we're really tired or we're sick or something like that, it's very hard to meditate. To be able to find that really nice, clear connection with spirit, things have to be fairly settled in our body, or somewhat settled. Yeah. It's okay if it's a vibrant and active process. We'll find a meditation space within that. But if there's a disturbance there, or there's a stress or something like that, it's quite hard to meditate. We have to get through that before we find that lovely, peaceful connection. Yeah. So mantra practice helps us to clear through that energy much more quickly. So it can feel a little bit more intense than other meditation journeys, but it gets us our results much more quickly as well. Yeah. So we practice mantra from a couple of different traditions. A lot of them are in Sanskrit. A lot of them are practiced in Hinduism, in Buddhism. We also do some mantras from Sufism, so they're in Arabic. And we also connect to the Christ energy. I was born Catholic, and it didn't fully fit with me to just stay with that one doctrine. Yeah, there was different parts of the teachings that just didn't quite do it for me, to put it mildly. And so I went searching for something that fit for me a little bit better. And what fits better for me is actually that everything is counted. Everything has its own truth, and everything can bring us back to our truth. The weather is really heavy at the moment. There's a lot of it's very humid, and a lot of moisture in the air. You'll have a lot of electricity in the air as well, and that feeling can just go along with that. Yeah. But I find that different vibration changes or different energy changes in the atmosphere, I'll usually feel in my ears more than anywhere else. I'll feel popping and buzzing and high-pitched noises and stuff like that in my ears. But it tends to settle down pretty quickly. It's never really persisted for me. So yeah, energy at the moment, I'm not sleeping great. I woke up on Sunday morning with the duvet upside down and all over the place. And normally I would, I'd wake up in the same position I went to sleep in. So there's a lot of energy moving at the moment, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that, the eclipse is unearthing everything. And then once we get to the other side of it, we can start moving forward again. And that's kind of what this feels like. It just feels like we're just plowing on. Yeah, we're just kind of plowing on. So this month, Master Sashi sent us an article to ask us to focus on our ancestors. So I think it's from the 5th until the 30th of September to focus on our ancestors. And so our mantra tonight, we'll do a little bit of just connecting in with our ancestors on our mother's side and our father's side. And we'll do some mantra for them. And I would encourage you throughout the month of September, at least once, to find some way that you acknowledge your ancestors. So it might be, you might have a grave that you can visit, or it might be that you go to a church, or some other place that's meaningful for you. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a church, but it can be somewhere that's meaningful for you or meaningful for your ancestors, where you light a candle, and you might bring some food or something like that. I'll speak a little bit more about how you can do ritual for your ancestors and prayer for your ancestors. And these are very important rituals to do, because if we look back in our ancestral lines, and if there is something or someone not settled, that energy flows to us in some way, and we're not able to fully settle. If somebody 3-4 generations ago didn't pass peacefully, for example, or they passed with a certain karma, maybe they did something terrible, that energy flows to us. It stays in the family line, and it can manifest in things like if you feel like your life, you had terrible luck, for example, or things didn't work out for you. All of those kind of things can sometimes be traced back to our ancestors. So it's really good to do healing for them. When we go to India, we do a lot of ritual that are honouring the ancestors, doing blessing for the ancestors, doing prayers for the ancestors, so that all of those different souls find peace. They're able to continue their journey in spirit world. And Indian culture has a lot of ritual around death and dying. And the article is quite extensive, and it's not light reading, but I've posted it in the main WhatsApp group. But if any of you guys here who are not yet in that group and you'd like that article, please let me know. It'll give you much more in-depth kind of information on that. And one of the things, I did a speed reading of it a little bit earlier today. And one of the things it talks about is a spiritual person. So in Indian culture, it's a sannyasin, so somebody who dedicates their life to spiritual work or spiritual connection. That when they die, nobody mourns their death, because it's believed and considered that they have fully completed their journey, and so we should celebrate. Like Louise said. Yeah. Something like that, yeah. So for our near and dear, if we can look at them, and I'm thinking of your dad, and if we can look at them and recognize that they lived a great life, and that maybe they did all the things that they wanted to do, in their way or on their terms, then we don't have to mourn that. We can feel sad when they pass over, but we don't have to mourn them. That energy can sometimes get in the way of them continuing on their journey, if we're so pained by their loss. So from our side, our focus can be on how we live our life. So that when you get to that last day or that last couple of days, that you can look back on your life and say, yeah, I did all the things, I went to all the places as much as I possibly could. I didn't waste any time. It'd be nice if we could look back on our life that way and not feel like, oh God, yeah, in my 20s, all I did was just judge myself and judge other people, and how we waste time. Yeah. So this is a practice. When we practice mantra like this, it's how we live life in that really enriched way. Yeah. How we don't waste time in our suffering anymore. We heal it. Give it loads of love. Heal it. And then live your life in that maximum way. Don't hold back.